Alright, cicadas, really loud. Anyway, it's getting a little obnoxious. So, the next few weeks anyway, get used to it. Anyway, and the Carnivad and Zombie Picture Show, talking loosely about the context of our consciousness. And, conceding some sort of acknowledgement of evolution, but not, in a sense that they say more. There's more to the story. That this is maybe a function of the universe, and I guess so. It's just it's so hard. You get into this stuff, and it just never stays specific enough to one dilemma. Like, how do we deal with consciousness? And consciousness really is a function just of evolution and the fact that we were obligated, matter became obligated because of reproduction to compete with other matter for arrangement. It couldn't stay in its form unless it had a form that was durable in the environment it was created in. So it became a contest of form. What form will be enduring? And that's pretty much all there is. It's endurable forms. We call it survival, but what it is endurance. And so it's just something gets to a point, and it maintains that configuration. That configuration becomes the dominant configuration through this replication function. And we know the replication function is just a property of very exchanged, very not regular material arrangement. That matter can be infinitely complex. I mean, at least infinitely in the sense if you have a million ingredients, you have a very large number of arrangements of those ingredients, and compounds and atoms can be arranged in almost an infinite arrangement. It's not infinite, but it could be. I mean, it is in practicality. It's such a huge number. So those huge numbers of arrangements provided the possibility for the fact that you could have this replicating phenomenon. And so obviously we're the byproduct of that. Did happen once, at least once. That's all we know is once. But yet happened. And the byproduct of that in the contest for endurance is our existence. Is our existence as conscious and sentient, or sentient and therefore conscious. But it's just that, a byproduct of the contest that we were forced, the matter was obligated to be a winner in. If you didn't win, you lost, period. There was nothing else to say. You played, whether you liked it or not. Obviously, our matter played in the sense that it had a form that won. Period. End of sentence. New paragraph. Okay, so that's a statement about, okay, now we can understand why we're conscious in the little y sense. It doesn't give us the mechanical answer, but it gives us the structural answer of how the machine that did create our machine functions. This is how the universe functions. Matter consolidates. So breaking it down to its simplest, you could say some evidence indicates there was a Big Bang. Let's just say that. So you could theorize that what the universe did is it particulated matter into space, and that matter over time, through the formation of suns, blobs of hydrogen, create all the other elements through the mechanisms of the sun's action, and in turn coalesced, spewed that out in another little explosion, particularization of matter, but it was it was particulating bigger pieces of matter now. And those bigger pieces coalesce into planets and all that kind of stuff, and coalesce back into suns and explode again, and do this mechanism of consolidating matter into denser form. And that's part of the function of the universe. The other function, I guess, would be over time, one would argue that all the matter through that process ends up getting spewed, somewhere. I mean, where the light goes is really hard to say. Where's the light go that's at the end of the universe? Does it just go forever? So there's some argument, I guess, to whether it all just ends up re-imploding. But the point is that we can see a mechanism in that things get reduced to their simplicity. They're turned into humus, and then there's mechanisms that allow that to generate back into complexity, and then that complexity is reduced back into the simpler form, and that's the function of the universe. And on the big picture, you can see that with planets and suns and asteroids and gravitational bodies, black holes even. And on our little scale, we're just a little piece of the parasitic action. It gets a little funky on the surface of Earth, but the chemistry is basically the same. You could argue the difference is this idea of replication, but the movement, the action, the breaking down and reconstruction of matter is happening on all the other planets. They just have a different kind of matter flowing on them. This planet has complex matter because of replication being a mechanism for natural selection, and those planets lack that mechanism. So this planet has these forms of blobs of matter moving about, where Jupiter might have clouds and storms of caustic acid or some other chemistry. So anyway, but there's no magic in here. There's no fundamentally unanswered question, in the sense, as long as you're narrowing your question to something less than an explicit, literal, technical description of how. But the why sort of has been answered. We've got the why. It's just properties of matter, and it's not there's nothing else to it. It's just, it happened because it could happen, and what it does is no better than all the other matter, in the sense that the mission isn't more complicated. It's just transformation for the sake of transformation. And the rest of the universe, matter being complexified for no good reason, just because that's what it does when it expands and contracts, or breaks apart and then coalesces. That's what its condensation practices provoke. And we're just doing a little subset of that, but with this bizarre, just really neat. Look at all these holes here. Holy crap, holy. I mean, damn. That's a lot of cicadas. Anyway, that's why I guess it's getting so loud here. I should be able to find the patches, they'll just be littered all over the trees. I should be able to find one of those eventually. Well, when I get time to go look, too. I haven't had time to do anything. Anyway, so what we're doing is really different than most of the matter. But the basic function isn't different. It's just matter being going through stages of form. And at this stage in the evolution of life, this is the form we have, the superior dominant creature, but it's still not doing anything. It's just it might as well be any other form of matter. There's nothing to do with that specialness. The specialness has no specialness to go anywhere, to have some other function. It's still stuck in a place where there's nothing to do but create your own mechanisms of function, to project your own purpose, because there is nothing to resolve in the universe. There's no problem to solve, again, until a feeling thing shows up and says, feed me, unfortunately. And that's not a good thing. So anyway, that's probably enough. Alright, must run and such. Till next time.